Okay, let's organize our code a little bit better here. So I'm going to create a class, or a struct, I should say, that will be responsible for this top view and maybe this part as well, but mostly this top view part here. So let's close some of these down. Instead of a view here, I'm going to right click, say new. Okay, SwiftUI view. I'm going to call this top view. All right, so our top view here, let me close this one down, have more space. Okay, so I'm going to put a Z stack because we're going to be adding a few things on top of each other, and as well another Z stack enclosed there. So this V stack here, I'm going to make alignment. I want this alignment to be leading to the left, right? And that's totally fine. And next, I'm going to add the text field, just what we had before. Let's go to content view. Just get all of this. And for now, we're going to get rid of all of this as well, because we're going to put all of that outside anyway. I'm going to put it all there in there. Now we have issues here because we don't have access to our forecast view. So no problem at all. We're going to come at the top here. Observed object forecast view model is indeed a forecast view model as such. Very good. And just like that, we have access to everything and we should be good. And I'm going to get rid of all this because we don't need that anyway. And while I'm here also, I'm going to add another item here, which is a state, because we're going to use this to toggle on and off our text field. So I'm going to say var show field. It's a bool, and in the beginning, it's going to be false as default. Okay. And at the top here, I need a few variables that will give me the screen width and height, because we're going to need those in a second. I'm going to say let UI width be equal to UI screen. All right, I have access to the whole screen of our view here. And I'm going to invoke the main. I'm going to go to bounds, and I'm going to go get width. I'm going to do the same for the height. So UI height like this. We're going to be able to use these two whatever we want. Very good. So I have all of that. Let's go ahead and Control I just to make sure that the code is looking good. Okay, so let's beautify this a little bit more. So for our text field here, what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a padding for all directions about 10. Let's put a frame around it so we can control it. I'm going to put a width. It's going to be UI width, right? We created just now, minus 50. And the height is going to be about just 50. That's totally fine. And then I'm going to give a background, pass a color from our library that we added, and I want this to be light blue. We give it a corner radius of about 30. I'm going to give a foreground color of white, and I'm going to give an offset to move things around a bit. So the X coordinate here, I'm going to say self that show field. So if it's showing, it's going to be at 0, the X value. Else, I'm going to just go ahead and actually move it to the left. So I'm going to UI width. I'm going to just divide that by 2 and subtract about 180 as such. Okay, and I'm going to pass an animation to it so that it has this nice animation that we love. I'm going to give the spring animation. Very good. So that's what we have there. Again, I like to make sure that everything is correct there. Okay, so now that we have our top view, notice our top view expects to have at least a show field that we have to pass, as well as the forecast view model, which is the view containing all the models and so forth. So if we go down to our content view, we can actually call it. Okay, before we even call it right away, I'm going to just put a V stack here just to organize things again. And I'm going to call top view as such, and it will expect a few things, of course, as I said. So we'll expect the show to be, I'm going to say self.show view, which we haven't created here at the top. So I need to create this variable here, which is a state wrapper here. Var show view, it's bool and false in the beginning. Very good. So we have our show view there. And next we have to pass the model. Well, the model is going to be the self.forecast view model. So it's a self.forecast view model, which we have there. So at this point here, if we save and give it a run, we should hopefully see something a little bit better. Nothing is showing here. In fact, you can see it's right there at the bottom. We can quite see it. The reason why we don't see it, in fact, if I go back, let's go back here and reverse something real quick here. Let's see. I'm going to give it a 40 or 50 like this, so you can see what I'm talking about. Let's run this. So in order for us to be able to tap and move back and forth so we can actually see the text fields, just like what we have here, right? We can add this nice image there. To do that, right here at the bottom, inside of our top view, of course, I'm going to add an image. This is system image that I'm going to pass, system name that is, and it's going to be magnifying glass. I want it to be circle and fill. So I'm getting all of this from our system. I'm going to make the resizable because I want to be able to control how it looks. And I'm going to say frame. Width is going to be about 40 and height as well 40. Okay, let's give it a foreground color. Say white. And I'm going to give an offset again because I want to move things around. So the X is going to be controlled by self, that show field. Okay, if that's true, then we are going to show it, use the UI width. Okay, subtract about 90 like that. Else it's just going to be about negative minus 30. So if it's not showing, it's going to be kind of hidden a little bit, but still showing a little bit. Okay, I'm going to add animation and I want the spring, of course. And now is the moment of truth. So I'm going to add the .on tap gesture. Okay, this is where we are going to add the on tap gesture to our image. That way, when we tap on the image, we're going to see either going left or right, this entire text view. Okay, the only code we need to pass here is just to toggle. I'm going to say self.show field and invoke the toggle method, just like that. Save this and give it a run. We should hopefully be able to do something useful here. And there we go. You can see, click, voila. Look at that. Very cool. It's showing everything is looking good. I can also, of course, add Boston here. Hit enter. Of course, you don't see anything because we haven't added anything yet, but you can see that our payload is still working. Everything is showing perfectly. All right, very nice. So this is working. And let's add something else. Let's say Sofala. Enter. Of course, you will see that the payload is still working here. In fact, let me delete all of this and run again. Hit enter, and there we go. Very good.